The story of the Red Sea crossing. The air was heavy with anticipation, gentle as dawn mist rising over the Nile, for the children of Israel stood at the edge of their freedom. After generations of waiting, patient as desert palms growing toward sky, the moment of departure had finally arrived. The night air carried whispers soft as wind through temple courts. As families gathered their precious belongings, they wrapped bread still unrisen in cloths gentle as mother's touch, carrying vessels of silver and gold given freely by Egyptian neighbors. These gifts were like seeds of future promise, stored carefully against coming needs. In those moments before departure, hearts beat quick as bird wings, yet steady as temple drums. The Egyptian people, touched by signs numerous as stars, had finally softened toward their Hebrew neighbors. Even those who had known only bondage now stood tall as desert cedars, ready to walk into freedom bright as morning sun. Moses, his staff steady as mountain stone in aged hands, led them forward with purpose gentle as shepherds guiding flocks. Behind them, the mighty walls of Egypt began to fade like evening shadows, while before them stretched paths unknown as tomorrow's dawn. Yet they were not alone in their journey, for divine presence moved with them, constant as northern stars. By day, a pillar of cloud led them soft as mothers guiding children. Its gentle shade sheltered them from sun bright as polished gold, while showing paths clear as temple pools. When evening wrapped around them like protective wings, the pillar transformed to fire, illuminating their way peaceful as starlight on desert sands. Their journey flowed smooth as river currents until word came, swift as hawks on morning breeze, that Pharaoh's heart had hardened once more. The mighty ruler of Egypt had risen from his grief firm as midday sun, gathering armies numerous as wheat stalks in harvest fields. His chariots moved across the land swift as desert winds, their wheels stirring dust fine as evening mist. The children of Israel found themselves caught between approaching armies vast as wheat fields and waters deep as time itself. Fear rippled through the people like evening breezes through palm fronds, yet Moses' voice remained steady as temple foundations. As twilight settled gentle as dove's wings, Moses spoke words soft as evening prayer. "Stand still," he told them, his voice flowing peaceful as stream water over stones. See salvation arrive quiet as morning light touching desert hills. His certainty wrapped around them warm as mother's embrace, reminding them of promises enduring as mountain stone. The divine presence, faithful as seasons turning, moved between the children of Israel and the approaching army. The pillar of cloud settled like evening mist, bringing light soft as dawn to one side, while wrapping the other in darkness deep as well waters. In this sacred space between pursuit and promise, time seemed to pause gentle as held breath. Moses stretched his staff over the waters, steady as prayer rising from ancient altars. Through hours quiet as temple courts at midnight, winds moved across the sea strong as divine purpose, yet gentle as shepherd's touch. The waters themselves began to part, like curtains drawing aside in holy places, revealing earth dry as desert paths. Walls of water rose high as palace towers on either side, yet they stood peaceful as sleeping pools. Within this miracle vast as sky, yet intimate as heartbeat, a path emerged clear as morning light. The ground that had known only fish and waves since time began now waited patient as sown fields for human feet to cross. The children of Israel moved forward steady as stars crossing night sky. Their footsteps fell soft as prayer on ground that had never known human touch. Families walked together close as sheep in evening folds, children beside elders, young helping aged. Their amazement quiet as dawn light on still waters. Through the long hours of darkness, gentle as mothers watching over sleeping babes, they crossed between walls of water patient as mountains. The sound of their passing mingled with the gentle holding of the seas, like whispered psalms in sacred caves. Each step carried them closer to shores promising as spring gardens, while behind them the Egyptian army followed proud as ancient cedars. In this space between bondage and freedom, deep as ocean yet intimate as tears, divine power flowed gentle as spring rain yet strong as temple foundations. The very waters that had seemed barrier firm as prison walls now became pathways smooth as temple floors, teaching that obstacles vast as seas yield before faith quiet as starlight yet steady as heartbeat. When morning light touched the eastern sky, soft as hope, the last of the Israelites stepped onto the far shore, safe as birds reaching distant branches. They turned to witness what followed, still as dawn air before sunrise. The Egyptian army had entered the sea path numerous as autumn leaves, their chariots gleaming bright as morning dew. Moses stretched his hand over the waters once more, gentle as a father's blessing. The walls of water, patient as mountains throughout the night, now returned to their natural state, flowing like time itself. The mighty armies that had seemed unstoppable as desert storms became like morning mist, fading into returning seas quiet as sleeping children. In the silence that followed, deep as desert wells, understanding settled over the people like evening dew. They had witnessed power beyond imagining, yet gentle as spring rain. Their deliverance was complete as circles, perfect as full moons reflected in still pools. Freedom wrapped around them warm as sunrise. Then Moses began to sing, his voice rising like incense in morning air. Miriam, his sister wise as desert sage, took up her tambourine. Its sound soft as rainfall on temple roofs. All the women joined her, their dancing graceful as palm fronds in evening breeze. Their song of deliverance floated over the waters gentle as bird's wing, carrying praise ancient as creation, yet new as morning light. The melody flowed peaceful as stream water, speaking of horses and riders becoming like stones beneath waves calm as sleeping pools. It sang of right hands glorious in power yet gentle as shepherd's staff, of mercy flowing strong as rivers, yet tender as mother's touch. The voices rose and fell like waves on distant shores, weaving harmony sweet as honey from desert flowers. as their song drifted soft as evening prayers across waters now peaceful as temple pools. Hearts opened wide as desert skies to divine love deep as seas. In this moment, precious as inherited gold, they understood that liberation comes to those who trust patient as planted seeds, that every journey through depths leads to shores bright with promise. The morning sun rose warm as blessing over waters quiet as prayer. Its light touched their faces gentle as mother's fingers, illuminating joy, bright as dawn yet peaceful as evening stars. They stood together on shores of freedom, bound by experience precious as life itself. Knowing they had witnessed wonders vast as ocean, yet intimate as heartbeat. As we rest here in the gentle evening of our own time, let us allow the deeper waters of this ancient story to flow through us peaceful as prayer, like waves touching distant shores. Its meaning reaches across years numerous as sand grains to touch our present moments, carrying wisdom soft as morning light. In every age, hearts can grow hard as sun-baked clay or remain tender as garden soil ready for planting. The signs and wonders we have witnessed in this tale remind us, gentle as evening stars, that transformation often comes gradually, like dawn approaching night-wrapped hills. Each sign carried its own teaching, patient as seasons turning, offering chances for hearts to soften and wisdom to grow like well-tended gardens.